everybody. I'm Andy Vineberg, and welcome to episode 65 of the David Uosikkinen in the Pocket podcast. Here we are for a second straight time on Zoom. So hello, everybody. See our lovely faces.
Hi, everybody.
And we're here. Dave's home in Wayne, and I'm here in Cinnaminson, New Jersey. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by extremely talented and busy prolific guest musician this week. Of course, is the great Cliff Hillis, singer, songwriter, musician, producer extraordinaire. The man has never written a bad song. Never. The man is incapable of writing a bad song, David. Right?
Sure. He's a great writer. You know.
We had Cliff on way back in episode 20, like a year and a half ago, and I missed it because I was home, like, deathly ill.
Yeah.
And like the only time I'd ever gotten sick. And
we missed you.
Yeah.
So, I missed you. It was a tough one. Even though Cliff, we're buds, and he made it easy, but it was that day. It's like we have our thing, our shtick, and you're Mr. Detail, and I had to fly solo that day, so it was a little bit.
You handled it fine, Dave.
Well, thank you very much. You're more than kind on that.
Listen to the whole episode.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Miss a beat, he says to the drummer. Yeah. So we're going to have Cliff on. He's going to be joining us in just a minute, I guess, from his home in Phoenixville. He's got a bunch of guitars with him, so I assume he's going to play some stuff for us, which will be great. Before we have Cliff on, Dave, you should tell the people how busy you've been and what you've been up to, because you're taking full advantage of what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, like a lot of musicians, there's a lot, technology has changed the fact that you can record at home, and and I used to do it 12 years ago when I lived in California. I used to have a studio set up in my garage, and I was cutting tracks for friends, and I had a business where people could send me tracks. And well, when I moved here 10 years ago, I started just outsourcing, basically going out to studios and doing my work. But when COVID happened, I did a couple sessions, and I just felt they went well, but I was uncomfortable with it. I think everybody was worried about what they're touching. As that fear factor was kicking in, and so I'll tell you, I had a pivotal moment. I was doing a session for Phil Niccolo and Obi O'Brien, and I sat on my in-ears I have right now are great, but this very set right here I happen to have on, where my backup ears, I sat on them and I broke them, and I went, okay, that's it, and I had to go fix. So I have a setup here, and I've been working every day. I've been cutting tracks every day for different people. I mean, it's been like I call it a 3 a day, and it's been great. And I have amazing friends that are incredible engineers that have been giving me great tips on microphones and placement and setup. And of course, my friends that are great engineers, Phil Niccolo, Bill Whitman, Steve Churchyard, I hope I didn't miss anybody, but Mike's, and it's been great. It's been great. I've been having a ball, but I don't leave my basement. I wake up and I'm just rocking and recording.
Well, it's certainly convenient to have everything just right there. Come downstairs.
Dallin loves it. She's in the office next door downstairs, and I'm not leaving. I'll look and hide. It's good. It's good. It's for her, baby, it's a blessing and a curse.
Right.
It keeps me off the trumpet.
How's the trumpet going, by the way?
Actually, hey, listen, I'm like, I'm blown.
Here we go.
That wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I'm having a ball. That's not representative of where I'm at, though, because I got the pressure's on. But I've been playing, and David Kirshner and Henry McMillan both have been great, giving me lessons and whatnot. So it's been cool. When I first started, it was like blowing on a thing, like I had to try to get sound. Now it's like I'm playing it like an instrument. So it's
So when the next In the Pocket show, whenever that is, you're gonna you'll get off the drums and you'll join Kirshner and Jim, and you'll be up there
someday. But not now.
Yeah.
My dream is to get up, and actually Eric, who I've been playing with a lot lately. He's a great sax player. He's turned into a great sax player. But we're both our instruments. He plays guitar, I play drums. I would love to play with him, maybe do a Man in the Street or something like that. Put Rob on the drums. Rob is a great drummer, So that would be fun to do. So
cool.
Speaking of great musicians.
Yeah, should we get Cliff up on the line here?
I think we shall, hopefully I can send out the vibes. Dial in, hit us up. Oh my God, look at that, it worked. The magic, it's working. There he is, he's got his beautiful picture there on there, it's wonderful.
There he is.
Hey!
Cliff Hillis in the house.
Hi.
And you got both of us this time. Last time it was just me, now you got Andy.
Yes, I love it. How you guys doing?
Great, how are you, Cliff?
I am well, thanks.
And very busy, I see. It seems like you're keeping yourself extremely busy through all this.
He's always busy, this guy.
Yes, it's like a different kind of busy, but yeah. Busy here in this room a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you've been doing these. You've been doing your brunches, right? Every weekend, you've been doing these musical brunches for people.
Yeah. I had a show booked. I believe it was March 14th, Saturday, at Steel City here in town, and that got canceled. That was right when everything get canceled. So that
everything.
Yeah, I jumped on and did a Facebook Live that night. But then the following weekend, I was like, it's Sunday brunch. I just jumped on the next Sunday. So now every Sunday at 12:30 has kind of become a thing that I'm from my Facebook page, my personal one. I do a little brunch time musical thing.
It's great.
It's been a really great experience because, people watch and join in, and so it's good.
You were one of the first, like when this all happened, I think the following week, you just grabbed the bull by the horns and you were one of the first people to start doing that, which inspired all of us to do it.
Cool.
I mean, it was about a month later when I did something with Greg and Wally on the street, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was so much fun, but you were, getting out immediately and realizing,
Yep. I had done some Facebook Lives here and there, but not like, very regularly. But yeah, I was just like, okay, this is where we are. This is what we're going to do.
Let me ask you, Cliff, so much of live performance is feeding off the audience and the interaction between performer and the audience. So is it an adjustment? How tough is it when you're playing live, when you don't have that immediate, visceral connection with the audience? Like, was that tough to get used to?
I'm sure anybody will tell you that it's doing Facebook Lives now that I'd already done a few here and there. So it's weird because, you don't have that. And so then some people, if you're not, if you haven't done it before, it can be a little daunting, kind of freak you out. But then trying to keep an eye on the comments for the delayed reaction and then saying you're looking and you're trying to remember your song. So it's funny. It's that your brain works in a whole different way, but it's better than not having any way to get to people. So it's different, but it's kind of cool in its own way. Because also then there's more people actually commenting and things, for better or worse, because they could be asking you for a cover or, like a request that you don't know or something. But but it's actually really, then the coolest thing, one of the coolest things for me is people from all over, and I do it at 12:30 p.m., 12:30 in the afternoon, because it's a little early for West Coast friends, but then folks overseas, it's evening. So then I got friends come from Germany. Our friend Christine, who has Weird Magazine.
Hi, Christine. I know Christine.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I know because you.
Yeah.
And different friends in Spain and stuff. So then they're commenting, and they get to be friends with each other in the comments. So it's it becomes this little mini community virtually.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It really is. It is really a super cool thing. What's
Besides
happened?
Situation, yeah.
You mentioned, Cliff, that sometimes you'll get a request that you don't know. Have you ever gotten some kind of off-the-wall request and then tried to play it on the spot like that? Or
that's the other thing is it's. I try to be professional, but it is a little more low-key because you're just here hanging out. So I have totally tried to wing a song once or twice or three times.
Yeah. We talked about doing the Facebook Live thing with this. We were going to do, but then I realized that with setting everything up and then getting ready and then recording it just I would miss so many questions. I remember the first time I did a Facebook Live. The questions I'm missing the questions. I'm trying to read them and trying to not leave anybody out. And I did a horrible job with it. So I said, this time You know, it was a little bit of a pressure, you know. I get a message from Eric saying, take your fan away from your face. I remember like, oh, he's scolding me already, you know.
Well, so, I gotta give major props to my wife, Beth Lennon, because she kind of, most of the time she's kind of hanging in the other room, and she's like producer, and she'll leave me a little comment because the stuff scrolls by so quick, and it's like somebody said, you know, ask for the song, you know, I know that song, so it's helpful to have like, you know, it's another set of eyes, and you know, and a smart brain. Beth Lennon.
As cool as it's been really, I know that I was, before you logged on, Andy and I were talking about my studio setup here. I've been working every day, and I know you know about it because Cliff's another guy that I've asked questions to. By the way, I'm using both formats now, Logic and Pro Tools.
Oh, awesome!
But I've relied on guys like him and other people, just for mics, and our friend Greg Maricos has been unbelievable. He helps me every night. And he's remarkable, not only a remarkable musician, artist, but he's been terrific with ideas, and you know. It's always you know, I've been waking up and I tell Andy it's been like 3 a day, you know. But fun projects and getting into back that mode, because I haven't done any kind of engineering or anything like that in 10 years, and it, you know, as you know, how quickly it changes, you know.
Gotcha. Totally.
And you're going to get a new laptop at some point, and then you're going to mess with Logic, and you go, it's a different world, you know. So, you know?
Yeah. I've been holding off, but this experience is sort of like, okay, I'm gonna be ready for any situation.
Yeah. So, but it's been fun. But as much as I enjoy, and this has been great, because I was literally losing my mind. You know, like, what am I going to do? And then every time I turn around, this cancellation of this, cancellation of that. We had a whole tour, just like you did. I know how busy you are.
What?
Like every time we turn around, we have things that are being, you know.
Yeah.
You were doing either orchestra, Patti Smythe, all those other projects you had, and then next thing you know, there's nothing to 2021.
Yeah.
Right. And like, and we were looking at the fall, but now I'm seeing more and more. Like, I just saw that Music Center are giving up their shows, and you know, I hope everything's all right with Andy. He just went like running around. We're getting a bit of a storm, I think, over there. You know, so you never know. After last week, a tree or something's coming down. You know?
Oh yeah, it came through here and just devastated. So many trees, it was nuts.
But my point being before that was that I missed, like, I can't wait to, and it's really made me realize how much and how lucky we are to go out and tour and play. You know, we got a great promoter, probably like you guys have great promoters. We all our stuff was just moved to 2021.
Yep.
We have a 40th anniversary tour that we're doing that is now, it's a 40 plus another year, you know, and all that stuff gets moved. And a couple casualties, but it looks like we're going to be okay. And
you got to be safe. You know, you can't. You know, people. I'm getting as antsy as the next person, but you want to be safe, do things right.
And I totally agree with that. I see the country opening up, and it's a little bit scary because I get up early and I watch the news, and you see what's happening with numbers. Yep. And as much as we need our economy rolling, the people, you know, it's like money, live, money, die. It, you know.
Can't spend your money if you're dead.
Yeah. Because I don't believe it's a hoax, like I've heard. You know, some people say it's not.
It's definitely not a hoax.
I'm no kidding. But actually, there's people that actually said, you know, that it was. And it's like, are you kidding me? You know?
I mean, you can debate the severity of it. I mean, there's, you know, some people, or how sick, because, you know, a lot of people don't get sick. Other people get very sick. But to call it a hoax, obviously, is completely
irresponsible.
I mean,
irresponsible.
Right.
Totally irresponsible. It's not cool. But anyway, enough of that pause. Let's talk about music.
Well, let's talk
your music.
I want to talk. Well, I want to go back a ways to In the Pocket story, because you told me, Dave, when you decided you wanted to record "I Saw the Light," and you wanted Cliff to sing it.
Right.
You told me the story that you called him to ask him to sing it, and he was reading Todd Rundgren's autobiography at the time.
True
so
story.
It's like kismet. Is that how you recall it, Cliff?
Yeah, it's actually Paul Myers, who's a fantastic music journalist. He's Mike Myers' brother, the actor Mike.
Okay.
Wow.
He wrote sort of a definitive Todd in the studio book.
Okay. All right.
So I'm reading that book, which is I highly recommend.
He was just reading it when I called him. He was reading it, so it was like
it so happened to me.
yeah, and because of that, he knew about the when we cut it, their little glass. Remember the little we
Oh
used
yeah,
that
well,
little,
I'm kind of with that album and that song, and yeah, I was like, there's just a little ding, ding. It's it's not like a cowbell, it's whatever. We need it, and so only in these certain spots, and then the tambourine only comes in for one measure. That's Todd.
I mean, Todd, I'm that is when you hear like stories like that and guys that like I got an engineer and I can't divulge the secret, but I got a friend of mine who worked for he worked for George Martin. I'll say Steve Churchard, and he's given me a couple real interesting tips on recording, and they're kind of crazy. They're really? That's how you get the sound? Like, you're putting a microphone in a toilet bowl and lifting, it's like, not really, but it's that kind of wacky, like the Boxer, when Paul Simon did the Boxer, apparently like there was some sounds that were recorded at the record plant in the elevator shaft,
Right.
Yeah, like those when you hear the story of Todd with the glass, I mean, that's the old school, cool recording, wacky stuff. I mean, now it's like, hey, can I get the plug-in for the elevator? You know what I mean? It's like the plug-in. But there were guys back in the day that would actually go out and record that sound and get that sound and put a slap back on it or some kind of reverb plate on it. It was like
you knew we did to find the thing you hear in your head, and how can I actually make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky that I feel fortunate that. When the Hooters started recording, I was still in that era where their engineers it was analog, and they were still doing things like that. I remember like Shelly Yakis had the room with all the cool Fairchilds and Helios and all these different cool outboard pieces of gear. And I remember walking in the record plant, Cliff, and seeing like these pieces of equipment dug in like outboard stuff that looked ancient, like the tubes were like the dials looked like they came from 1930s,
Yeah.
And they sounded great. You'd hit a drum, and then somebody like Bill Whitman would go like, "Watch this," and he'd kick it in, and you'd hear like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
I never heard it sound like that.
Like Jeff Emmerich with the Beatles. Yeah, it's like it's
right. Yeah. And those guys wore lab coats. Literally wore lab coats back in the day. It's amazing stuff. But I think that we're in a world right now, I'm not knocking the plug-in world because I think it's cool. I mean, I'll do a track and I'll send it to somebody, and what they can do with it is it's remarkable.
Oh yeah, they save me because having this sort of modest setup, and I can do some crazy mixing and mastering, and that I wouldn't be able to do the plug.
Yeah, I mean, and people don't know, Cliff is the man. Cliff did the record when Tommy Conwell was on. Tommy worked with Cliff. Cliff is an amazing engineer.
That album doesn't exist without
producer. Cliff. Oh, exactly. I mean, it's funny. We started from we initially started cutting those demos with Cliff, with just Tommy, Cliff, and I. I was downstairs. Tommy was upstairs playing and winging it, just going for it. But Cliff is like the sound guy. Would just dial in. Make it so great, and he's becomes such a great producer that it's I just got to give you kudos. It's always a pleasure. I recently had a track. I was doing a track on another record, and the drums just didn't sound right to me. I called Cliff. I said, "Can I come to your place and cut these drums because they're just not right?" And he made them right.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, can we get back just for a minute to the recording, the in the pocket recording of "I Saw the Light"? And Cliff, as Dave said to me when I talked about the song at the time, he said, Todd fans, they take their music very seriously, and you can't screw up a Todd Rundgren cover. They'll let you know. Yeah. Did you feel, I don't know if pressure's the right word, but I mean, we obviously, here's this iconic Philadelphia song by this iconic Philadelphia music legend, and now you're going to take a shot at singing it. I mean, do you remember what your mindset was going into that recording?
Oh, I was definitely very nervous because I loved the song, but I'd never performed it. I didn't know it as a cover or anything. And, so I worked on it pretty seriously. And, and the cool thing was with all the in the pocket sessions, surrounded by, Philly's finest, everybody's kick ass. Right. And then Phil Niccolo. And then, so the only thing was like the cutting the vocals. It was like, we do everything pretty much like live, get one good take live and then, add some bits. So I did like a few passes of the vocal, but not like I could be at home just obsessing, doing a million takes. But so cut, a couple passes, and basically a lot of it was live. I remember like we ran out of time and we couldn't get all the background vocal things together. So I sang a few at home and kind of sent them over to Phil just to make sure we had, weren't missing too many parts. But that was daunting, but I'm honored and thrilled, and I'm really proud of what we can.
You killed it. And that one in particular was really got some nice airplay. Like I know Earl Bailey at Sirius Radio plays it. He still plays it to this day. There's some kind of shows called Undercover, where they do covers, and he always seems to play I Saw the Light, your version of it, Cliff, and it sounds great. And you know what was really cool, that with Todd, we did the folk festival that year.
Yes.
And Todd, I just mentioned it. I said, how cool would it be if Todd came up and sang with us? And he comes over and he said, what do you want me to do? And so we're talking about songs. I said, well, how about I Saw the Light? He goes, well, I'm doing that. I said, okay, you're the boss. And I said, how about Open My Eyes? And he goes, really? You think you can pull that off? And I said, yeah. Best thing with that, Cliff, and I don't know if you remember, and you know this story, but we play it, and then Todd, we do that weird little, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 version. There's that weird, only Todd would come up with an arrangement like that. Once you figure it out, you go, that's genius, right? Him. And then when we play it, and I remember Jeffrey started singing the second verse out of that section, and then when I was walking off with Todd said to me, "Oh my God, I just got this thing saying, it's funny. I guess they're putting some sort of restrictions on Zoom now."
Oh, we have 10 minutes.
Yeah, is that real? I thought, well, I don't know. Hey, look, we're live. We talk about it. It said 10, but listen. So, Todd said to me, he goes, well, that was easy. I remember I didn't know if you know what he said. He goes, well, that was easy. Because he was wondering what was going to happen. And that was I thought, well, those guys are good, So
that's a great praise from Todd, because he's.
Yeah. Unfortunately, folks, I got to tell you, this is weird. We've gone to Zoom. At one point, I guess that, this was a free service, and it still is free.
For a while, but yeah.
And now they want you to, after like 10 minutes, it's an upgrade. But we're a live program. I didn't know this. So it says that we have 10 minutes, which is really unfortunate.
I think we might be able to re-sign on after it cuts off. So then we might have to fuse the two.
Maybe do that. Okay.
You have to do a part one and a part two.
Yeah.
Well, just in case we do run out of time, which would be awful.
Let's get them to play.
Do you want to play something?
Play something for us, pal.
I'd love to.
I love it. Anything. I'm gonna put you on speaker view. Look at that. You got the whole screen now, my friend.
Oh, hey now. Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome online from Zoom, Mr. Cliff Hillis.
Well, I feel compelled to maybe sing this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was late last night. I was feeling something wasn't right. There was not another soul in sight. Only you. So we walked along, and I knew that there was something wrong. 'Cause the feeling in me, you're so strong about you. Then you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see.
Wow.
'Cause I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. Though we had a thing, I just never would expect a thing. So that little bell began to ring in my head, but I tried to run, though I knew it wouldn't help me none, 'cause I couldn't ever love no one. So I said, but my feelings for you were just something I never knew, till I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. Where's Steve Butler and Greg behind you? Gonna love you best. It's not something that I say in jest, 'cause you're different, girl, from all the rest. In my eyes, and I've been out before, but I won't do it anymore. Can't you see the light in my eyes? In my eyes, in my eyes, in my eyes.
No one does it better.
It's
Yeah, I dared to join you because we have latency, and it would have been.
Yeah, that's the only bummer. Yeah, it's too, they still haven't. It just you can't get rid of the internet. You know.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Right.
So have you ever had a conversation with Todd of like a extended conversation or?
Have I?
Yeah.
No, you know what? I was working with you guys, the Hooters, when I had a short while of helping out Tekken with Eric and stuff.
Yeah.
And when the Spectrum closed down,
Oh. Right.
and you guys did that show with Soul Survivors and Todd
and Hall Notes.
and Hall Notes. Yeah.
Right.
And I just remember backstage, kind of like seeing him, and this is way before. So, said a quick hello, but he was, he was Todd. He was being a little aloof. Ironically, Beth, my wife Beth had some conversations when there was that Philly Awards thing that happened last year.
Right.
And she was there actually helping out.
Exactly. Right.
And and then after the thing, some folks were hanging, and she ended up being basically at a table almost next to him. And then so like somebody texted me a picture, and I was like, "Damn it, I was at home, doing or something." And she's there hanging out, chatting on Rundgren, and they had some good conversation.
There's a great story of Kate Ryan. Because Todd came over to our hotel room later that night. It was like 2 a.m. hanging out. I said, like, how are you? I said, Todd, you're going to get on a plane and go to Hawaii in like 2 hours. He's rock and roll, man. He's that. And he said, Kate was saying, I think Kate was telling him because we know somebody does a better version of I Saw the Light.
Right.
I think there's some story where she said something like that to him. Or I forget what it was, but she was like pretty brazen, like giving him shit, It was really great.
I love you, King. I love you so.
Yeah. It was pretty funny, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, so listen, it's saying here that we have 3 minutes. So what I want to do, because I wasn't aware of this, and I at some point I guess we'll upgrade. I didn't know that they were going to this. So I think this will be two pieces. So it doesn't abruptly end. We should maybe say la vie, and then we're going to I'm going to send another email, and then we'll put the video together. We'll put it together. Figure it out,
Sounds good. All right.
Okay. So we'll see you shortly. Okay?
See you back in a few minutes, Cliff.
See you in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Everybody sit tight. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, real quick. You know what? Let's see if this will work. If we want to be really official, we want to be official about this, All right, we'll see you for the second half.